Hey, what's going on for 99 fans? It's your boy MusiqNerd. Bit somber this week as I do my reactions, and I mean, I'm sure y'all are too, as y'all have just gotten finished watching the game, probably like me. So it's crazy because I like to think back to last year when around this time we had just got finished scoring having a 70-point game, setting NFL records for yards in the game. But this year we couldn't even get 100 yards, couldn't even could pass 100 yards of offense until midway through the fourth quarter with a team that was playing prevent defense on us. So my how times have changed. So let's get into my reaction. I mean, we'll start off with the Dolphins first. We'll give you the bad, and then we'll talk about the controversial ending with the Canes, and we'll talk a little bit about Florida State too when I come to my reaction. Not too much though, because it's going to take a little while. So I mean, for the Dolphins, this is like what we talked about before. Really, this is what this team looks like without Tua Tagovailoa. No matter your feelings about him, he's important to the team. He's valuable to this team, and you can see it. This offense is based so much off timing and off being able to anticipate and anticipatory throws. You can see that Tyler Huntley is not a bad quarterback. He's not the greatest. That's why he's not. That's why he was on the Ravens practice squad last week, or I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago. I mean, he's not a barn burner, but he's someone who I thought was going to be able to do better than what he did. That first drive that they had tonight, I thought, hey, yeah, they got a rhythm going, they have a good plan going, and then the backwards pass got out of rhythm, and then all of a sudden, absolutely nothing. I was hoping that Miami's defense was going to be able to really keep them in this game and get a win. I was expecting a really low scoring game, and for a while was that. It's just Miami's offense couldn't do anything, like not a damn thing. And it's crazy to think that the number one rated offense from a year ago is this bad right now, but they could barely get a playoff. It was it was discouraging to see. I thought maybe we could be able to kind of get through this stretch because this is the easy stretch of Miami's schedule. But right now, the way we looked against a team, in my opinion, that was really way down. I do think Mason Rudolph getting a bit of a spark, but in the grand scheme of things, he really didn't. Their defense just was able to kind of pin their ears back and do whatever they wanted, so they were able to win the field position game and just really just kind of pound us into the ground. They made one really big play, a 41-yard gain, and that was pretty much it. When it came to explosive plays, I know they got a late touchdown off the botch onside kick, but it's crazy when all it comes down to is how a team looks, how different a team looks without one major player. And for all those Tua Tagovailoa haters, y'all want to look at what Miami looks like without him. You seeing it. This team went 12 quarters without scoring a touchdown until the fourth quarter tonight. And like I said, they weren't able to get past 100 yards of offense until the fourth quarter. That's just not acceptable for a team that has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, David Unchain on it. Hopefully we can get a little bit healthier. Maybe that'll help out a bit, but I can say you got to be concerned. You have to be concerned going into the rest of the season. I'm not sure these next two games, which you have two games left until Tua can even attempt to come back, what it looks like. And, it's just discouraging. So, that's going to be the reaction for that, because if I talk anymore, I know I'm going to get really upset. And I'm not going to let the Dolphins ruin my high, ruin my life. I got things going on for me and everything. And while I love talking about the Dolphins, I love talking about South Florida sports, look, man, seeing something like that, hey, you kind of got to just let it go, G, and focus on the positive. Speaking of the positive, let's talk about the Hurricanes. All right, so the Hurricanes are 5-0 for the first time since the 2017 season. So clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Look, not every win is going to be perfect. Not every win is going to look amazing. Not every win is going to be something that you want to brag about. And Friday night was not something you want to brag about to everybody. But the fact of the matter is, I love the heart that the team showed. They did not play their best game. They played like maybe sea level. And even that being said, this Virginia Tech team is a talented team, a team that a lot of people thought was a dark horse for the ACC. Not a lot of people thought this team was going to be 2-2 going into this game. Actually, most people thought this team was going to be 4-0 heading to this game, and that this was going to be a ranked matchup. And this was a game that I thought was going to be tricky at the beginning of the season, because Friday night games are always tricky. these type of games are always like they're weird, and who wants to play on a Friday night in Miami? It's crazy. But that being said, I think what Miami has to do before we get into all the craziness of it and how I feel about it, Miami has to shore up the tackling. They have to be a little bit better when it comes to execution. They're a bit sloppy when it came to a couple things. I I'm pausing because I want to talk about the refereeing, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Miami did not tackle well in this game. I think that they were a bit lackadaisical when it came to certain things. I did think that the momentum shifts in this game were huge. I think that going into making this a 21-7 game and then getting that touchdown taken away, which on a bad holding call, which I think. But that being said, I think both teams had touchdowns that were taken away by bad holding calls, in my opinion. And the difference, I think Virginia Tech was able to still get a touchdown on their drive. Miami threw an interception the very next play. Now I think on this one on Cam, I think you have to, no matter what you do, no matter what you see, I think you have to lead that receiver back. I think he was just trying to put it right back on the short ball. You got to throw that to the back of the end zone. I don't care what it is. You just take that chance. If not, then you get a field goal, and then I'll take 17-7 instead of 14-7, and then being in plus territory. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's how Cam is. He's going to take those chances. He's supremely confident. I don't want to change that, but that being said, I'll say this again. He had some Heisman moments in this game, and if your worst game is a 5 touchdown, 3 turnover performance where you throw for over 350 yards, and have over 50 yards rushing, I'm gonna take that because especially in a win. But I think that this kind of wakes up everybody up a little bit, and I think they're a little bit more focused because this is gonna be another tricky game again. Going into Cal, playing at 10:30 at night. A game day then, because Cal's going to be up for it, and everyone's going to be up for it. You gotta kind of gird your loins a little bit, get down to it, and be like, hey, this is my game. You're not going to take it from me. So you're gonna have to really see how Miami reacts. Now, for me, spending the weekend, kind of hearing all the trolls and all the people saying that Miami didn't deserve to win the game, and everyone's opinion. Now, I can respect if you're upset that you think that the call on the field should have stood because you didn't see any video evidence on that. I can respect that. I can, because for me, I can understand someone saying, "Oh, I don't see how you can overturn that." But for me, I have yet to see an angle where a Virginia Tech player caught that pass. That's just how it is. That's how I'm going to see it. That's how I'm going to say that. And then, in the grand scheme of things, it was called an incompletion. That's how it was. ACC put out the right reasoning for it, in my opinion. Grand scheme of things, I really don't care. I'm gonna take a win because Miami over the years, and I don't think people understand this. Like, being a Miami fan is like dealing with heartbreak when it comes to officials. You have to look no further than the 2002 National Championship game. Look no further than last year when it came to 3 calls that I think changed the course of the season. When it came to that safety, when it comes to Florida State, Don Chaney's phantom fumble. And, of course, even the safety that should have been the Clemson game. Luckily, we were able to win the Clemson game, but Miami didn't win two of those games. And momentum can be so shifting. I think if Miami gets those calls, those are wins. So, for people who are calling out Miami saying they should forfeit the game and saying this, where were y'all when these things happened to Miami last year? Where were y'all in the 2002 National Championship game? Where were y'all when all these other things that happened to Miami? Have y'all ever seen Miami go to Notre Dame and play them at in South Bend? Have all the cheating that goes on there? Where were y'all when those happened? So to ask the team to forfeit because something wasn't fair, that's kind of BS and everything. Like, look, people are gonna react how to react. It was not a well refereed game. Like I said, I think both teams suffered from bad refereeing. I think Virginia Tech lost a touchdown to a bad holding call. We lost a touchdown to a bad holding call. And then on that same drive, that was a phantom pass interference call as far as I was concerned. I think that the player kind of shirked up and then turned and then made it seem like he was getting held when he wasn't. So that changed the momentum in the game right there. Virginia Tech scored a touchdown on that drive. I think that when it comes down to it, you have to be able to make plays, and Miami was able to make plays, and Virginia Tech just wasn't able to make the last one. Because the grand scheme of things, at best, he had a tie for that catch with Isaiah Horton. Isaiah Horton landed out of bounds, so that's what made it incomplete, in my opinion. So we move on. Cal is up next, and then after that, you get the probably two hardest games of the season left, in my opinion, with Louisville and Florida State. The rest of the games are going to be tricky because ACC can be tricky and all this. But when it comes to a talent standpoint, these three games are probably going to be the next trickiest. So if Miami can get through these three games unscathed, that's all you're going to really see like what this team is made of. Because then after that, it's going to be about mental fortitude. This one is about who you, are you going to be able to strap up and get to it. Because you still got that. You still got a lot of important games coming up. So, all right, on to Cal this weekend. After dark, college game day. It's going to be a charge experience, charge atmosphere, and people are going to be talking a lot of crap about Miami this week. So, how are they going to respond? So, and then talking a little bit about Florida State. I want to say I'm surprised. I do. But I did think there was going to be a little bit of coming to earth moment against SMU. SMU is a very talented team. A lot of former Hurricanes on there. Rhett Lashie, he knows how to play Florida State, being on Miami staff for a couple years. So I think the most interesting thing that happened is DJU breaking his finger. So you're going to have Brock Glenn. So can Brock Glenn put some verve into the Florida State offense, can make them, come together a little bit more. Maybe he could make them come together a little bit better because they rallied around him, for those couple games. And when when Jordan Travis went out last year. But is that going to be enough for what this team needs? So we're going to have to see. And Florida was idle. They're going to be taking on UCF next week. We'll see how that goes. So, that is going to be it for my reaction to this week. Like I said, anyone who doubts the Tua Tagovailoa's wealth to this team, just watch the last three games, and that's really all I'm going to have to say. So until then, I'm not sure what to say about the Dolphins and what's going to happen, but, we got to be able to run the ball. Taron Armstead got to come back. We got to get healthy, and we got to hope and pray. Because if we lose another game in the AFC, you can kiss those playoff hopes goodbye. And then you got to hope for maybe a better pick when it comes up. So, we love y'all. Jay, we'll probably have his reaction videos later on, and then we will be filming a podcast later on this week, hopefully to be released next week. We're going to be doing an NBA preview along with the reaction to the first quarter of this season. So, love you guys. We will see y'all soon. So, we out. Y'all have a good one. Bye.